like to welcome you to BOI Meets Wellness, a podcast that discusses the complexities, celebrations, and challenges of building a wellness ritual as a BOI, a person who is born obviously incredible. You are now listening to BOI Meets Wellness with poet, motivational speaker, and wellness lover, Evolve Benton.
BOI, born obviously incredible, especially when you wear it pretty.
What's good? What BOI Meets Wellness community and listeners? We are about halfway through season 2 of BOI Meets Wellness. Can you believe it? It's been an amazing opportunity to connect with y'all this fall. I appreciate all of you that have hit me up about how these episodes and being connected to these resources cause you to step your game up, telling you to think about your financial wellness. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for hitting up our financial advisors and getting support. It is an honor to be able to create space for us to think about our financial wellness and to just think about our journeys in general, right? This week's episode had to be my favorite interview of the season. I got to sit down with one of my best friends, the best boy in my wedding next year, creative producer, and my own personal Joe Jackson, right? Lex Kennedy. My boy gets me together when it comes to my creative projects, and most of the time I'm sending him pictures, images of it, before I even release it to y'all, right? Because you got to have that person in your community that you're able to bounce ideas off of. In this interview, we discussed the hustle and creative magic that led Lex Kennedy from being homeless in Los Angeles to being a creative producer at ABC. He has had an amazing journey as a Black trans man, and it's just an honor to be his friend and to see him take over the world of Hollywood. But before we jump into this interview, I'd like to share a financial mantra with you all. I know I usually leave a wellness tip, but this week I wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm trying to remove myself from the lack mindset. So I keep thinking a lot about lack and not about abundance. And I'm really trying to reprogram my mind. So this mantra, I plan to speak to myself every morning until I believe it. The mantra is, you deserve all and more. There's no money bag that is too big for you to handle. You deserve it all and more. There's no money bag too big for you to handle. See, I'm already stumbling over the words. That's how you know I don't believe it. You deserve it all and more. There is no money bag that is too big for you to handle. You deserve it all and more. There's no money bag that is too big for you to handle. See, I realized that while I've been listening to these interviews and talking to some of y'all offline about money, that there's so much healing I still have to do around my relationship to abundance. So, like myself, please use this mantra and let me know if it serves you, right? Because mindset shifts, it takes time, y'all. You could be leading the work and still need to step back and do the work for yourself. A true healer is always healing. And a true manifester is always thinking about, more clear ways that we can manifest our dreams and our goals. If you really like these interviews, don't forget to head over and visit boimeetswellness.com where you can check out our resource page, check out some of our past interviews, and don't forget that we're on social media. So like us on Facebook, Instagram, check us out. If you really like my work and want to hear more about that, you can find that at evolvebenton.com. I have books for sale for the holidays, so I appreciate y'all supporting that. Just really push yourself to shift your mindset. On our resource page, we have a few books there that have really, really shifted and elevated my mindset that I want you to know about, that could really support you in not only shifting, but elevating the way that you truly think about yourself, which is, I think, what we're really on the journey of trying to do is we're trying to find ourselves and a way to support that version the best way that we can. But thanks for listening. Now let's jump into this interview with the dopest and flyest human being I know on this planet, my boy Lex Kennedy.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be on BOI Meets Wellness. My name is Sir Lex Kennedy. My pronouns are he, him, and they. And what brings me joy? What brings me joy? That's a really good question. Laughter brings me joy. So making people laugh and making myself laugh brings me the most joy. Whether it's like a corny parental joke, right, that you get off a popsicle stick, or a fun pun joke. Jokes and laughter bring me joy.
That's dope. You always make me laugh, man. So I can definitely resonate with that. I'm smiling as you say it. I'm trying to like hold in my laughter. So speaking of like what brings you joy, I've always, when people have asked me in the world, like, what does Lex do? I always say a whole bunch of different things, but what I'm starting to say is, Lex is a hustler, you know what I mean? And pretty much doing as much as he can to make media representation as diverse and as queer as fuck as possible, right? So if you had to share with the world, like, what do you do in the world, or what is your claim to fame? What would that be? And if you're not at where you want to be, what is your dream goal as far as like identifying, I guess, more of, I wouldn't even say career, but, what you're doing to create change and to bring money into the house?
I would call myself a creative content producer, making content across digital platforms, whether that be video content, audio content, like great podcast that I'm a part of today, and photography. So I basically like consider myself to be a creative content producer, just making things that I dream up in my head with other creative individuals. I say it's a producer because I'm trying to produce the coin, right? So I'm not just making this content for the sake of, oh yeah, I just want to make great art and, I want these stories to be out there. I want to monetize these stories because, one, we in this capitalist system and it feels like it's not shaking nowhere. So you got to make it shake with it. And two, because I am so overseeing queer, Black, trans, and even cis, sometimes I get mad, content that's being monetized by communities that don't look like the folks that are represented in the content. So I want to be on the other side of things, actually like producing it, bringing in funds to make it, and help others to make their creative content.
What are some of the strategies that you've had to utilize with navigating, the world of Hollywood? Because I know, for a while you're very much a freelancer, and now I know you're doing work with like KTLA, and I've seen you doing work with like Outfest, and you can even share, other avenues that you've been able to touch. But like, what are some of the challenges and some of the celebrations of kind of like, playing both of those roles, right? Like really not buying in, but working within the institution, but then also keeping your creative independence. And, where are the celebrations? Where are the challenges?
I would say that the celebrations for me start with actually making it, so to speak, right? Like having a dream and saying, I'm going to leave this city of Atlanta, come to LA without a specific job offer being offered to me. And I'm going to figure out a way to make it. That was 7 years ago when I made that leap with 4 other creatives. And after about the first year, it was just me left, right? And for me, that was like a celebration because it was really, really challenging not having a stable job, stable income, and having to, like you said earlier, like just hustle to make it happen, whether that was working as an independent contractor with Outfest as a part of their different grant programs that they had, or, trying to find work through, the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Center's LifeWorks at the time, or, having a friend say, hey, come work here, I got this job. So picking up a part-time job on top of the independent contracting I was doing, and then shooting with friends. Like, hey, you want to do a photo shoot? Okay, cool. Well, you might not be able to pay me, but I know, you're going to take care of me. So that's good enough for me, right? Because we community and you in my community, that works. So the celebration for me is being able to piece all of those different independent jobs, all those different hustles together, plus the part-time job to actually be stable. And then 7 years later to be working in local news as a news producer is a huge celebration, right? And for flip of that is like the challenges. So the challenges have been not knowing where that next contract is going to come from, right? As a freelancer, I know a lot of other freelancers out there, they can relate. Like you might have your budget set for July, but you might not have that budget ready for September. You might not know where that money is coming in September. So the challenge for me is just like not being stressed and walking in faith and belief that I live in abundance and that all my needs will be taken care of, right? And really having to lean on that. And that is challenging as hell in this capitalist society. And also another challenge for me was pushing past the place of shame to ask for help, right? To ask folks around me for help, to be like, hey, bro, like, I need help, or hey, I need assistance in this way. I've been hella independent, and that's also part of me, like, being a freelancer, like just wanting to do it my way, and having to learn that it's okay to, one, not do it your way, but also to involve other people, because they can add things that you didn't even know needed to be added, but also like lessen the stress of having to do it by yourself. So really having to be like, okay, humble yourself, ask for help. A closed mouth don't get fed. That's something I say a lot. A closed mouth don't get fed. But sometimes I wasn't practicing that within my own work as a creative, trying to sustain myself financially. So that's a challenge that I had to overcome. And it's something that I'm still overcoming. Like right now, I'm in a place where I'm gainfully employed. I've got benefits now. Like I got a 401k. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, what? A 401k? A black
ball out.
I'm like, OMG. Like I can't believe it, right? But then it's like, oh God, like this is like doom, responsibility, right? And then I've been 2 years working in this workplace, and we've been in this buying holding pattern, right? Where our parent company is selling us, and I haven't been in the place to be able to negotiate my raise. So the next challenge for me is being able to negotiate my raise. Like I am picking up more skills at my job so that I can be more specialized, so that I can go in and ask for the big dollars that I deserve. So like that's the next challenge. The challenge that I'm currently navigating in my workplace. And then in terms of like freelance, I'm just blessed because I'm working with really amazing people. I'm in the process of fundraising for this short film. And because I reached out to folks and I told people, this is what I'm doing, like the funds are coming in, right? So the lessons that I've learned over these past 7 years are coming into play, and they're guiding me through this next set of challenges.
That's so dope. Thank you for like giving us that depth into your, into your story. Cause I think that sometimes folks see the end goal, right? So if someone met you right now, seeing you, what people would consider a lush position, right? Like when you be really taken care of, people are like, oh, you're in a lush position. But this is really how companies should take care of everyone. People would think that it was just easy, right? Like that you just kind of walked in there, but you really, showcased to us like what the journey is about. So you really spoke a lot about like negotiation, right? Yeah, you spoke about it at the end, but even throughout your time and your journey here, you're like, okay, you had to negotiate. What's the pros and cons of me staying in Atlanta or moving to LA? How am I going to move my dream? What are some tips that you would give to young LGBTQ trans folks really trying to get into the industry around negotiation? Because I think that, you and I have talked about that. Like we've been doing this work for a while, and there's so many times we've shortchanged ourselves, or there's experiences where we're like, dang, we should have charged a lot more just because of the stress, right? So like what are some tips you would give around negotiation for folks?
First I would say, number one, everything is negotiable. Like everything is on the table, and always remember that. And then number two, if you don't open your mouth and ask for it, it is not going to happen. Closed mouths don't get fed. And number three, always, before you go into any type of negotiation, go in with your value already assessed. Go into that situation, into that negotiation, knowing what your value is and what you're bringing to the table. And if you feel like, because I know I feel like this sometimes, like, maybe I'm just, is it too much? No, it's not too much. If it's too much, they just don't have the budget for you. That's just what it is. Don't shortchange yourself and feel like you have to lower your value before you even get to the table. Go into the negotiation with your value set, and people will say, well, how do you set that value? Like, how do you determine that? You determine that based upon the work that you've done before, and your rate, and also the rate of others in your field doing the same work that's comparable, if not, like, I always reach for comparable, if not better, right? And then I go to my circle of folks who I believe have my best interest, folks who I can trust, and folks who I know are going to tell it to me like it TI is. And I share it with them, right? And it doesn't have to be a lot of folks, but it's always good to have somebody outside of the negotiation that you can kind of role play a bit with, right? And work through, determining what that value is. And then I will also say, like, even after you've negotiated and you've come to terms, it's okay to renegotiate. It's okay to say and you might not have those terms met during renegotiation, but it is okay. Like, I feel like at times I could have renegotiated the situation, but I was fearful that, that person might not want to do business with me again, and fearful that I would lose that relationship. But relationships and negotiations is all about communication, right? So if you can make sure you keep that in mind and make sure you keep communication open and honest, and forthright, everything can be renegotiated. That's my biggest takeaway. And now that I'm going into this stage of renegotiating my contract, because I'm at that place, I would also say, I didn't say this at the top, but you got to know the person on the other side of that table, right? Their expectations, or that product on the other side of the table, the service on the other side of the table, the expectations. Know it like you know the back of your hand, right? So the communication between both parties, or however many parties, will come from a place of understanding, right? And won't come from a place of you're not working with all the information. You want to be working with all the information that you can and that's available to you, in your negotiation process. Yeah.
That's real. That's real. Thanks for laying that out, bro. Thanks for laying that out, because I think that, oftentimes, especially in this freelance contractor world, we don't think about the gas. We don't think about our own energy, our emotional labor. We don't think about how we're gonna have to deal with TSA when we get into that little town that's bringing us out. So I think it's important that we double up. You get what I'm saying? As Nipsey would say, like, we got to add a little bit extra to it, because, like, some of this work is so challenging. You might go into a place and be like, I can't even work for a week. I need to take time off. You know what I mean? Just from the emotional labor. Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, like, what I've really also been able to see you do is not only survive, but thrive, So what are some, this is Boy Meets Wellness, and we talked a little bit about money, but what are some of the wellness things that you're doing for yourself to prevent burnout? Because I know in this capitalistic gig economy, people can really feel like they're working all the time. Like, sometimes I have to tell myself, like, nah, leave the computer at work, right? Like, this is a night off where you ain't even gonna look at a screen. You just gonna chill out, read a book, and get to bed. So what are some of the wellness, things that you do? And it doesn't have to be like, going to a spa, but what does your practice look like?
So I have just started to get into this space of, because we started the conversation around laughter brings me joy. Like, I like fun and games. I like to just be playful and to let my, unicorn free sometimes and just gallivant and just, what I've learned is that when I'm not playful and I'm not incorporating fun and games into my life, like, it's all work and I've become too stressed. So for me, I love coloring. I just got this really cool coloring book. And my last off day where I really just sat with myself and didn't do anything, I spent like 4 hours coloring maybe like 3 pages out of my coloring book. And that was just the best day ever. I was just like, today is a good darn day. Today is a great day, right? Like, today, is an amazing day. So coloring books, I really enjoy listening to music, creating a playlist from new music that I come across, or just working on, because part of my mini hustles is DJing, sometimes it's like, I don't want a DJ to get better, to be better. I just want a DJ to get better for myself, right? To just play music for myself that I enjoy and that I like to dance to, because part of my fun and games is all dancing. So I love to just curate a nice playlist, put it on shuffle, and dance in front of my mirror. Dance in front of my mirror, read books of poetry. Sir, that's really sitting with me right now. Reading, coloring books. Oh, and Uno. Oh my goodness. If you know me, you know I love to play Uno. So trying to have like a game night with friends, family. My girlfriend just say, hey babe, like you want to, get down on some Uno real quick. When I'm feeling like stressed or overwhelmed, or just like, oh, why am I not doing anything? And then sometimes I just like to make stuff for myself and say like, Lex, you don't have to. This isn't work. This is just, you're making something for yourself. You're not producing something for it to be seen by anybody or for, you to make money off of it. You're just making it because you want to make it, and it's fun for you, and you like making things. Like, I like making things. And sometimes because my work is about making things, I cloud the two. So when I give myself, my own self, a boundary, like, hey, we making this just for us, and it's going to be cool, and we don't really have to share it. It brings joy into my life, and it makes me feel good. So I would say making stuff for myself is part of my wellness routine. And so that could be making a bomb omelet or making a really bomb new hash for my hash browns, because I love hash browns and I want to change it up. Stuff like that. Those are activities, making foods, making a cool picture in my coloring book, making a cool playlist. Those are parts of my wellness practice.
Thanks for sharing that. That gave me some creative ideas, because I really, I think sometimes we get stuck in the movement of life. But I love to cook too, as you already know. And I love the idea of hooking up some hash browns. Ain't nothing like that, especially in the morning.
Right.
So the other thing that I really appreciate about you, Lex, is you always keep me connected to the beauty in Black love, especially through your social media platform on Instagram. You're always showing pictures of Black people loving each other, you know what I mean, and different concepts. And that could be from parenting to Black queer women to a group of hustlers hanging out, just enjoying themselves. So what role would you say that Black love plays in your wellness and in your healing journey?
I would say that it's the core. It's the heart. Black love is the heartbeat to my healing and wellness practice. Every day I wake up, I am blessed to wake up behind not behind, because we lay side by side, but normally we're spooning. So sometimes by the morning time she's spooning me, but I'm blessed to wake up with an amazing, amazing woman who I love and I adore. It just feels good to be grounded in her love. But before I would open my eyes, I'm deep breath, inhale, exhale. I try to do, and I try to tell myself, I love myself. I'm worthy of love, and I'm going to lead from love. And a part of that practice comes from being in this relationship, because I'm with somebody who believes that everything is led with love, and that love is their religion. So from the moment I'm out of the bed and before I even leave the house, right, I'm just grounding myself in love, in my own love for myself, and the love for my partner, and the love for my family. Right, I usually try to tap in with loved ones on text and just say, hey, I love you. Good morning, I love you. Because I know that I'm going out into a world that does not love me, right? That does not see the same love that I see on myself, right? So I'm just trying to store it all up from the moment I wake up and take it outside of my house and share it in physical spaces when I talk to people, and then in digital spaces, because to be quite honest, I don't see a lot of Black love in digital spaces. I don't see a lot of us loving on each other in physical spaces. So it's important to me to, we say a lot of times, to be the change that we want to see. We're the seeds that we've been waiting for. So I can't go out into the world and be oh, people aren't doing this if I'm not doing it myself. So, and also it kind of ties to in terms of my healing journey, being in a household where we didn't really express love, and we didn't express that we loved each other physically, through touch, like a hug. I can't remember my mom hugging me and telling me she loves me and kissing me, right? So as I've gotten older, I've said to myself, like, I want to change that for myself because I do like that. For a long time, I thought I didn't. I was just like, oh, I'm not into all that lovey-dovey stuff. And, 10 years ago, like, you wouldn't see me be like this because I hadn't really searched and figured out why I wasn't doing it and the reason why, and ask myself the hard question, like, is this something that you do want? And because you didn't get it, is that why you're responding this way? So after, time and self-reflection, I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, it is something that I want. I'm going to do it every day, and I'm going to start that practice in the morning when I wake up with myself and with the person that I'm with. And I'm going to carry that into the world because I want this to be the world that I live in. I want the world that I live in to be full of Black men, Black women, Black gender non-conforming folks, Black trans folks, like all of us, just humans, but specifically Black folks because of the history of the transatlantic slave trade. I want us to be loving on each other in all spaces. I feel like that was like a really long answer, but ultimately, like, Black love is what grounds me and centers me. For me, love is my religion, and loving on myself and my people is the work that I feel like I was sent here to do. Ashe. Thank you for sharing that, Lex. Thank you. And no answer is too long when you talk about Blackness and you talk about love. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you spending your time on that, really showing your process, because I think, especially as like, Black masculine centered people, you know what I mean? Like the conversation around emotionality and love is not often had. So I think it's powerful that you were able to reflect on your old self and really see, how you've reshaped and come into an understanding of your emotionality, which I think is like all about like maturity, right? Like we kind of understand ourselves more. And as we love more, we love ourselves more. And on that journey, we have like, all of these prophecies, right, that kind of guide us. So it's very, very exciting. So the last question I have for you before we jump into some fun and games, because I heard you say you like fun and games, is what advice would you give to just other Black trans men right now, you know what I mean, on their journeys? Any advice, and it doesn't have to necessarily be about work or about finance, but is there any message or any advice that you want to give to folks who are, just on the journey? Because sometimes we think just because someone has an ideal job or the ideal life that they're okay. But what I'm saying as a person who has the ideal job and ideal life is sometimes I'm not okay. And I could just use the message of love for my boys. So is there anything you want to share with folks? I was just hanging out with my boy Pat last night, and it felt so good to just kick back. Pat is in Pat Manuel. Oh, yeah, Pat Manuel. Yes. Patricia.
Yes, can you please tell the audience who this person is? Because they're an amazing person that people should know.
Yeah, my bad. I was like, Pat. My bad, Pat. You my boy. So Patricia Manuel is a phenomenal and amazing activist, athlete, pro boxer, currently currently undefeated professional boxer, the first Black trans out that we know of, right? That we know of, professional boxer. Like I said, activist. He is a phenomenal speaker and just all around just like amazing individual. You should definitely follow him at Team Pat Manuel on social media to prove all you haters wrong that said that he just won off a fluke. Okay, I will tell you, I was there. It wasn't a fluke. I know you were watching. It was no fluke. My boy got that. So definitely check Pat out on social media.
Haters don't hate.
They gonna hate. That's really what it is. But what I was saying is, it was so cool to hang out with Pat. And like when we hang out, Evolve, right? Like it's just, there is nothing like, to me, when you can just hang with your boys. Like it feels, to me, it's just edifying and gratifying. So my message to my fellow trans bros out here is make time to spend time with another trans bro or, one of your boys, right? They could be a cis guy, but have that time to bond. It don't even have to be a big group. It could just be one-on-one or a few of you, but it is necessary. It is necessary to have that, those conversations, but really to have that touch, right? I feel like even though we're in this digital revolution, right, and we're all on social media, I feel like IRL is the best medicine for our healing and for us to sustain ourselves so that we can thrive. Having conversations in real life about what you're really going through and what you could really come through, or what you're celebrating, it is medicine to the soul. Like yesterday's time that I spent with Pat just fed me for my weekend, and I'm like, whew. And then I was like, oh wait, because Pat was like, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm interviewing with E. So it's just like, bam, I'm about to get back to back fueled up, like I'm about to get fueled up back to back with time and energy and love shared with my boys. So I would just say, hey, folks, hit your boy up, make plans, even if it's just a FaceTime, like even if it's just Skype or those little, I don't have the new iPhone, but like little character you can make and you can like send messages and like, I don't know what it's called. Oh, face emojis? I don't know what it's called.
Bitmojis.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's just that. But just get that interaction. I'm telling you, it's good. It feels good. And it doesn't have to be around like, quote unquote, like masculine things or whatever, but just kicking back and having a good kiki. It's okay for us to have a kiki, okay?
Kiki, yes.
I saw somebody say the other day, they were like, yeah, when I talked to my boys, it was a masculine center, a masculine center person, they identify as a dyke, and they said, it's not spilling tea, it's spilling Gatorade. And I was just like, okay, I can get into that. But either way, like, masculine folks need to hang out and just talk and have healthy, non-toxic conversations, just conversations about connection in life.
Dope. So Lex Kennedy, how can folks get involved with you? How can they connect with you? How do they find you? How can they be the next actor or actress on an amazing film that you're producing? How do folks get to know you?
Please reach out via email, via social media. My email is IAMLEXKENNEDY@gmail.com. So that's IamLexKennedy@gmail.com. I'm just an email away. Right now I'm on a social media hiatus, but I will be coming back. I also feel like that's part of my wellness practice. I didn't really talk about that earlier, but stepping away from social media and spending time with just myself and not looking at pictures, not reflecting on, oh, this is where they are, this is where I want to be, like this measuring stick that sometimes happens for me personally when I'm looking at social media. Pulling away from that sometimes is a healthy wellness practice that I do. But I'll be coming back. So please follow me on Instagram at ICU Sir Lex. So that's at ISEESIRLEX. I see shit. That's not right. I forgot the U. I see Sir Lex. So at ISEEYOUSIRLEX. On Instagram, on Twitter at I am Lex Kennedy. If you are interested in being an actor, if you are interested in having your beautiful face shine on screen and you live in the Los Angeles or Atlanta area, please reach out to me via email. I'm shooting a short called Retros. You can find our fundraising campaign at GoFundMe, Let's Shoot Retros. So if you go to @gofundme.com/Let's Shoot Retros, you can see the campaign there. If you email me directly, we can have a real conversation, hopefully exchange phone numbers, because I am a talking to type of guy. I'm really talkative, but I like to talk over the phone. Email is great as well, but hopefully we can exchange phone numbers and be in conversation. If you are somebody who is like, I don't really want to be on a film, but I want to lend my talents in some way in terms of, hey, if you're shooting about retros, I got a retros collection that I would love to, be in the film. I would love people to check out my collection. If you're a sneakerhead like myself or like my boy E, just hit me up. We are taking in-kind donations for the film. And so I said email, social media. Yeah, those are the best ways to get in contact with me. You can be in contact with me probably on social media. I'm going to keep it a buck for y'all. And August, I'm going to hop back on. I feel like that'll be a nice 60 days of just cleanse. So if I don't get back to you and you get back to me, and you send me a message now, please don't hold it against me. I will get back to you by August. But if you want to get in contact with me right now, send me an email at iamlexkennedy@gmail.com.
I'm glad you're taking that social media hiatus too, bro. I think we all need it. And I think it's like, a part of the journey too, stepping in and stepping out and taking care of ourselves, especially as technology advances. So our next section is called Boy Talk and Hop. And you listened to the episode, so you already know you got to fill in the blank. I got some questions for you. So it's going to be like, I give you like something like, I love to watch. And you could say, like me, I would say, I love to watch the sunrise, because I'm on that romantic shit. But no, I really do love a good sunrise. I really do. I feel like it's very calming, and when are you up that early to really see that? So it's kind of dope. So let's get started, Lex. So my favorite food is
vegan lasagna.
Nice. What's included in vegan lasagna?
Oh, okay. So there's this spot that we've been going to. It's called Pure Vita. And it's like this truffle, mushroom, cashew cheese, basil blessing, I call it. And then there's Renee's delicious, like hands down the best vegan lasagna. It's got like squash, red, yellow, and orange peppers, spinach, smoked vegan mozzarella, cheddar cheese It's like, bro, it's so good. Yeah, that's my favorite food right now.
That sounds tasty. If I could spend a day with anyone, it would be blank, and we would do blank. Dead or alive?
If I could spend the day with anyone, it would be with my granny, and we would clean greens and pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't make me cry. More money, more
haters.
I love you, bro.
Like it happens. Like the more money you get, the more haters you get. The more following you get, the more you monetize that following, the more hate you go get. That's just how it goes. That's what I believe.
It's a part of the journey. It's a part of the journey. Sex is
necessary. Sex is necessary, and sex is also therapeutic.
I love to watch.
I love to watch Pose. Right now, I'm like heavy on Pose. You and I have been talking about, my spec script that I'm writing for Pose. That's my show. I am in a TV mode, so I love to watch Pose.
Who's your favorite character?
Okay, this is favorite characters. Blanca. MJ Rodriguez is somebody who I number one have a crush on, because their talent on screen is undeniable, and the heart that character has in the show is it's like the mother's love that we all want, and that really speaks to what ballroom culture is. And I really love Blanca's character. And then my second favorite character is Elektra, because Elektra and people are like, Elektra, I don't know, she doesn't have the acting shot. No, Elektra to me is the wonderful anti-hero, what do you call it? Anti-villain. I root for her, and I also can't stand her, but I also root for her. And I just love the way she shows up, and she is herself. And even like after all of her ups and downs, she's still Elektra. Like she's still, not very changed.
She's very consistent. Very consistent.
Yeah, very. I love her.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites too. I actually got to meet her. I think I told you about that. And Yeah, I got to post a picture on my social media at some point, but she just felt so much at home, and I felt like I could be one of her kids. I was ready to leave with her. But I appreciate her. Shout out to her. My next one for you is film is
freedom. I feel like I can be free when I'm making films. I feel like because I'm doing this independently, right? There's nobody telling me like what I can and can't do, what I can and can't say. It is a medium where I feel, my freest.
Wellness is
the life goal. Yeah, wellness is like the life goal for me. Coming from a place of, like many of us, queer and trans, Black folks, a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt, like a lot of generational curses. Wellness for me is the ultimate goal, to be well for myself so that my community can be well, right? So I can pass those practices to my community and I can share them. So for me, wellness is like the ultimate life goal.
Ashe. And last but not least, never least, Lex Kennedy is...
Oh, okay. Lex Kennedy is a good goddamn time. Okay.
You are, bro. You really are. You really are, man. Thank you so much for coming on Boy Meets Wellness. Thank you for being along the journey with me as I dream and allowing me to witness your dreams and just being, one of my best friends and one of my best thinking partners. I feel like I have crazy ideas and I talk to you about them and you'll be like, bro, that seems a little crazy. Or you'll be like, wow, we could do that, and it just feels really good to have, someone in my corner like that. So I really appreciate you being here and just being in my life, man.
Thank you for having me, bro. I love you. I love the show. It's an honor to be on the show. Other folks who've been on the show are folks who I look up to. So to be a part of this is amazing. I'm honored to be a part of your journey and to see you just shining and growing and building. Whew.
We out here doing it. We ain't got no choice. The ancestors have given us the push. We have no choice.
This is Sir Lex Kennedy, and I'm born obviously incredible.
Thanks for listening to Boy Meets Wellness. Stay connected on and off the show by following us online at Boy Meets Wellness. That's boy with an I. Until next time,